Will you lot shut up about Jose Mourinho? He's past it. What is up, everyone? This is Ellibod here. Welcome to the Ellibod Sports Network, and done my championship prediction. First week of the championship went by, and yeah, some very bizarre results. And they say the championship is the hardest to predict. So now we're going to go into the Premier League. I'm also going to throw in a couple of other things, like I'll throw in the FA Cup and the League Cup, and might throw in some other ones as well. Again, I use my two-place caveat. If my prediction is spot on, 5 points. If I am one place out, 3 points. 2 places out, 1 point. Anything further, then it is an incorrect prediction. So, I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's start it off with 20th. I don't like the fact I'm putting this club 20th, but they are yo-yo status now. They come up from the championship, they go straight back down. They win the championship, they come 20th. Norwich. Fark has shown himself as a master of the championship, but then he just drops straight back down, and I've got a feeling that the same is going to happen this year. And I don't really see Norwich making any big moves. I don't see Norwich doing anything in the transfer market that's of note. Again, I just don't really see it happening. So I definitely believe Norwich will get relegated, because they usually do. They are a yo-yo club. 19th. I think the wheels have started to come off at Burnley. The Sean Dyche style is starting to be countered way too easily, and I think this year it's finally going to come crashing down with relegation. And again, Burnley seem to maintain that sort of style. They're trying to play safe, but again, it's getting way too easy now to counter that. It's like when it's like that time period where Stoke had Rory Delap, and of course the long Rory Delap throw made it difficult for defences. But then defences learned how to counter it, and then Stoke fell. I think the same is happening with Burnley. They need to change their style a bit. There is a time to play that conservative long balls from the back style, but Burnley have got to go for it early. They've got to try and get to the 40 points as early as possible, but I don't think they're going to do it. So 19th for Burnley. 18th. Now this one I had a huge problem with. Between 18th and 17th, I was struggling with these two teams, but again, I've got to go with my gut instinct here and go 18th will be Brighton and Hove Albion. Another team that I just don't really get why they're in the Premier League. They continue to stay up. I mean, they put off a couple of shock results here and there, but they don't play anything that resembles Premier League football. You know, I said it last season, they don't even play football that's good enough for League One. They seem to be the hipster's choice for football. And I just don't get why. I don't see Brighton as being any good. So yeah, Brighton 18th. And staying up 17th by the skin of their teeth, I have gone with Brentford. I think that Brentford are going to stay up narrowly. A lot of people seem to be saying that Brentford are the whipping boys for the Premier League this season, and I don't think that will be the case. I'm personally thinking we're actually going to see kind of like a Hull situation where They rocket up the league and then come crashing back down, only to survive by sheer luck. But I reckon Brentford they'll get at least 2 seasons in a row out of the Premier League. They won't go down this year. They might go down next year. But I reckon they will stay up this time. So 16th. Patrick Vieira is not going to make any difference. He just won't. He may have been a great player in his day, but he's not going to make any difference for Crystal Palace. If anything, this could actually be a self-detonation. And you still have Wilfried Zaha somehow, but he's not going to be there for much longer. I mean, he may still go in this transfer window, considering the amount of money that's being thrown around. But again, Palace are a club that struggle for their identity. The only real identity I see with Crystal Palace is they've got some of the most passionate fans in the Premier League. But that's not going to be enough to drag you up. You need the right players, you need the right staff, you need the right strategy, and Patrick Vieira is not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Bringing him in, it could actually be pretty reckless, which is why I'm putting you for 16th. And again, if you allow the 2-place caveat, you might still end up getting relegated. But it'll be interesting to see. But I think he's just going to end up causing unease at Palace. 15th. They'll stay up this time. And I pray the sacking culture will end at Watford. Watford are an interesting bunch. I know a couple of Watford fans, and they're nice people. But at the same time, their club has a habit of shooting themselves in the foot. And it's because of this they never end up top half in the Prem. So, just have a manager at the beginning of the season and stick with him through to the end of the season. And you might just have a chance. If the sacking culture comes back, then they're going to go down. But I think Watford will learn this time. So I've got Watford for 15th. So we move on to 14th, and after doing better than I predicted them last time, I'm going to start being a bit more optimistic about my boys. 14th, Newcastle. Newcastle United are going to be 14th. I'm praying that we keep a lot of our players. I'm praying that we don't sell anyone that we desperately need. Obviously highlighting Alan Saint-Maxima. He is the jewel at the moment in Newcastle's crown. If we lose him, then we're fucked. I really hope Steve Bruce gets sacked. I can't stand... I said it earlier, I can't stand conservative football. But when you play it and you're not even good at it, and you're not even good at setting it up, it highlights just how bad you are as a manager. Who would I like to come in? Well, there are a lot of managers I would like to come in, but they probably wouldn't accept it. But I would love if I read that Eddie Howe was coming in as manager of Newcastle. That I could get behind. And going back to what I said at the beginning of the video about Jose Mourinho, I love the fact that there are some people that still rate him as this top-class manager, coated in riches, when, no, he's past it, he is out of his prime, and he doesn't know what he's doing. It's the same with it's the same with Rafa Benitez, and I'm going to cover him in just a moment. But stop rating Mourinho. And that's, if I'd read that Mourinho was going to take over as manager of Newcastle, my first thought would be, yay! Steve Bruce has been sacked! My second thought would be, I don't think this is any better. But I'm getting off topic. Yeah, I thought I'd get that out of my system. I just don't think Mourinho is going to do anything at Roma. He just won't. But yeah, I hope Steve Bruce gets sacked. And we get in someone like Eddie Howe. That would be, I think, brilliant for Newcastle. So that's at 14th. 13th, I've got Southampton. Couple of interesting moves for Southampton in the transfer window. They've sold a couple of players. A couple of key players, I even think. I believe I read that Danny Ings had been sold to Aston Villa, which is kind of weird. But I think Newcastle have also... No. So 13th, I have got Southampton. Couple of interesting moves for Southampton in the transfer window. Sold a couple of players, brought some other ones in. I think they're trying to rebuild what they have so they don't end up with another 9-0 defeat during the season. If they can go this season without a 9-0 defeat, that will be a huge improvement. But yeah, I still don't see Southampton making top half. And it's kind of a shame because, you know, I don't mind Southampton as a football club, but I just wish they were more interesting. I just wish they did something that made us turn towards them and go, oh, they've just done that. Okay, maybe they are something. But they're not doing it. 12th now. I have got... It'll be a drop-off from last season, but you're still going to stay up, and you're going to do pretty well, and that is Leeds. Leeds United made top half last season, and put some ink on the Irish guy. So, this time I don't think they'll do as well. I think they will start to slip. But they will still be in a respectable position. And I think 12th would still be respectable for Leeds. I'm just hoping at the moment, if they keep hold of their key players, then yeah, there's going to be no real concern. There is going to be concern, however, at 11th. And I just... It's madness. It is madness. 11th, Everton. Rafa Benitez. You know, if this happened in the mid to late 2000s, then I would be predicting Everton to be up in the top 4. But now again, this is another case of a manager past his prime and not bringing anything new and interesting to the table. The style he's going to bring is not going to be in date with what the rest of the Premier League are doing. But again, Everton do have a good squad. But I reckon the clash between players and manager and fans is going to be what kills Everton this season. But again, they've got the quality of players to stay up and to do pretty well. But they're going to drop off mainly because of Rafa. He's not going to be able to inspire the players. He's not going to be able to get the fans behind him. And again, it goes back to that point I was making about both Rafa Benitez and Jose Mourinho. Again, mid-late 2000s, they're the same thing, but I just want to put it the right way around. This would have been a big move, but not now. Speaking of Jose Mourinho, 10th place, his former club, Tottenham Hotspur. Oh, things are disintegrating. Things are really starting to fall. And you've got your best players looking to leave. And oh my god, it's like reading a horror book. Except it's happening in real life. And part of me is looking on in awe and part of me is looking on in disgust. Because Tottenham have spent so much to try and make themselves a bigger club than they were. And it's not working. It's not worked. I mean, you might be losing Harry Kane. And you might lose Son Heung-min. It's just becoming a bit of a mass exodus at Tottenham, and I think it's just going to start to fall apart. And the team that's going to benefit at Tottenham's expense, 9th place, I am going with Wolves. This is a club that's a bit of an odd duck in the Premier League, but I reckon that this season they're going to have it pretty good and they'll finish in the top 10 in 9th place. They seem to have a solid foundation even after, now that their most recent managers left. They still want to maintain a lot of what makes Wolves, i.e. Portugal FC. And if they're going to keep hold of that, then I reckon that will work, because if you have players that have a common bond, then they tend to do better. So I think Wolves will be pretty good this season. 9th place. So next in 8th. Again, I mentioned, but I don't like this club, but they are gonna, now that the deal's gone through, they are gonna be bringing in the quality players with that Grealish money at Aston Villa. The selling of Jack Grealish by Aston Villa is going to make them, it's going to put Aston Villa in a very good position, and they're going to bring in the players that are going to make them a European threat. They're going to start challenging for European football. I mentioned that I believe Danny Ings has gone from Southampton to Aston Villa already, and that was before the sale of Grealish. So that should be an interesting move, and I reckon there's going to be a lot more from Aston Villa to come. They're going to acquire some pretty good players. But again, it's going to be getting used to the new surrounding for those new players, which is why I'm not putting Aston Villa any higher than 8th. Again, they might make 6th if you allow my 2-place caveat, but I think 8th will be safe. 7th, the Shock Pack. Last season, I think I remember tipping them for being quite near relegation. But against all the odds, David Moyes has shown himself to actually have some worth. 7th, West Ham. It'll be interesting to see how West Ham continue from the successful season they had. I think they might begin to struggle a bit, but I reckon West Ham will have it pretty good. They'll continue to get some good results, and yeah, I reckon 7th for West Ham. I reckon that there'll be some there'll be some shocks. I reckon they'll pull off a couple of wins against the teams I'm ranking above them. Speaking of, 6th place. You might think I'm overrating them, but I think a couple of years of underachieving, there's going to be some desire at Arsenal to end that drought. They're going to want to try and get back up into that top 5 area. And I think they've got the players to do it. And again, it's Arsenal. And with the fans being allowed back in, there's going to be, I think, even more passion and desire to try and will the players on into the higher positions. Even though most of the Arsenal fans I've met are odd, to say the least. They're a weird bunch. But then again, I say that about most fans, other than fans of Newcastle, of course. Right, so now we get into the top 5, and the drop-off from last season, I think, is going to hurt Liverpool. Again, I think you've got the right manager. It's just going to be forgetting about that you won the Premier League title where there was no fans present. You need to now focus on winning it again with the fans present. And I think that pressure got to the players last season. I think it will get to them again this season, which is why I'm going with them for 5th. But again, don't do anything drastic. This is where Liverpool should be at the moment, and start to rebuild what they had. And this is a good position to be in if you want to rebuild something when you're still making top 5. Transfer-wise, Liverpool have been okay. There's been nothing like overly major as far as I've seen, but they're pretty good stuff. So Liverpool for 5th. So now, top 4. This could get interesting. I jinxed Arsenal last year by talking about FA Cup fortune, but that can lead on to something. But this is a club that I think will do something with it. 4th place, Leicester. Leicester continue to build themselves up from being this minnow team on the verge of relegation to suddenly being top flight contenders and looking to try and keep themselves and getting themselves into more European competitions. I reckon this year they will challenge for even bigger than what they have. They've got European football this season, and they might capture the eye of a couple of people. And 4th place for Leicester City. And that will be a good result if Leicester can maintain that top 4. 3rd place. Okay, now this is where I struggled with the top 3. Everywhere else I was reasonably confident, but this is where I think I'm going to get a couple not spot on, which is why, again, I use the 2-place caveat. I reckon I'm going to get this top 3 correct. But I think I might get them in the wrong order, but I'm going to go with it. 3rd place, Chelsea. Champions League winning can do some good things for you. But it's now a matter of what you do with it. If Chelsea cannot get themselves in the top 3 after winning the Champions League, and now with a coach that is showcasing his ability to the world and showcasing the talent at Chelsea, this could be this could be a good season. I overrated Chelsea last time, and then Thomas Tuchel came in and shook everything up and got Chelsea back up. But I still think I'm not going to overrate them any further than that. I think third place. So now, the two Manchester clubs, I think, will occupy the top two. Second place, I'm going with Manchester City. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Ireland's favourite son to deliver after that £100 million move. And, you know, there's a couple of other big shots at Man City as well, not just Jack Grealish. But, no, there's going to be a lot on... I think a lot of the focus is going to be on Grealish, and that's why I think City might falter at the last moment. I reckon it's going to be very, very tight. Almost like when Man City won their first title, it was on goal difference, if my memory serves me correct. It was that close. I reckon it's going to be that close again. But this time, to win the Premier League, first place, I am going to go for it, Man United. Look at what's been spent now at Man United. Since Ed Woodward resigned, suddenly United have opened the wallet and are spending big. And not just James Sancho, but that's going to be the big focus, I think, for Man United. James Sancho, and he's going to be looking to bounce back from his penalty miss in the Euro final, as will Marcus Rashford. And I think that's going to be the desire that's going to drag United right up to the top. And I think a lot of people who have been calling for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked, I think they're going to be tucking into a rather large slice of humble pie. So, that is my Premier League prediction. Remember, I have the 2-place caveat. If I get a prediction spot on, 5 points. If I'm 1 place out, it's 3 points. If I'm 2 places out, it's 1 point. Any further, it is an incorrect prediction. And looking at the teams here, I do reckon that Man City, as I've stated, I think they will come second in the Premier League. But I think they're going to pull off a treble either way. And by that I mean, I am going to go with Man City to win the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. All 3 of them, Man City are going to win. And that's another reason why I'm putting City for second. Because I think Man City will be more focused for the Champions League than they will be the domestic game. So, there we go. I throw in for you League Cup, FA Cup and Champions League. I think all 3 of them are going to be won by Manchester City. Oh, I've got a feeling you people are going to really rip at me in the comment section, but we'll see, won't we?